Rioting has spread to the west of the country, with protesters sieging and breaking into administration buildings. And in the capital Kiev, the opposition and the government are now expected to announce the results of their talks. RT's Peter Oliver is there.
What we've seen is groups of demonstrators and rioters across Ukraine trying to either occupy or demonstrate outside of government buildings. Now, in the cities of Lvov and Rovno, we have seen the main local administration buildings being occupied by demonstrators. Now, I was looking online and on Twitter of accounts of thousands of people in Lvov. Also, we've seen it on the local news here as well, of scenes from there. And it's not just those two cities. In the west of Ukraine, we're also hearing of government offices being besieged, or at least the scenes of demonstrations. So certainly the unrest in Ukraine not limited to the capital here in Kiev. Now, we are hearing from the government side that they are ready to consider repealing, or at least toning down new measures, new laws that were brought in to tackle the violence here in Kiev. And we've also heard from the Prime Minister, Mr. Azarov, who said that he was ready to resign, and his whole cabinet resign, if the parliament here in Ukraine decided that they weren't up to the job. Now, that's one of those things that's going to be up for discussion at a special session of the Ukrainian parliament that will be held next week. That was announced by President Viktor Yanukovych. Also up for discussion at that session of parliament will be the possibility of holding elections. We've also been seeing a reaction to what's going on here in Kiev from further afield, from abroad. Now, the European Union has been particularly vocal. On Thursday, we heard from Mr. Barroso, the president of the European Union. He held a phone call with Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych, in which he said he was deeply concerned. Now, during that conversation, Mr. Yanukovych assured him that there would be no state of emergency called in Ukraine, and there was no plans at the moment to involve the military as extra type of security services on the streets. Now, he wasn't the only European leader to talk about Ukraine. The head of the European Parliament, Martin Schulz, said that in his opinion, there has to be elections in Ukraine immediately, and he was calling for the Ukrainian government to call those elections. So the European Union applying pressure and making their voices heard over the subject of what continues to be, at the moment, a standoff between rioters and riot police, and a lot of talks going on between the various sides here in Ukraine.